Hello, there's a fellow called Robert Penston, and he's sitting on my computer. Robert Penston, interesting man. I think we're actually about the same age, and he has his producer is Huw Edwards' wife. He's on ITV. I'd mistakenly thought that Huw Edwards' wife was a producer at the BBC. She isn't. She's a producer. She's a high-level producer at the ITV. And Penston is a friend of Huw Edwards, and he's basically been saying we should go easy on Huw Edwards because he's a friend, and that anyone criticising Huw Edwards or the BBC. He's not a criminal, and therefore he should not be treated like one. No, he's somebody who has failed to uphold the standards of his office and has failed to respect the money that he's paid for those standards. He's a person who the country trusted. Now, the fact that he has got a mental illness and is in hospital now is one thing, but the stories suggest that he's been behaving in a dodgy way for quite some time, and in a way, I think the word creepy is probably the best moniker for Huw Edwards. And I don't see that Huw Edwards can possibly continue in his job. He certainly can't be fronting any more royal funerals. Not that they're necessarily coming up thick and fast, but I can't see Huw Edwards commanding that spot on the BBC ever again, because people will just be sniggering every time he talks about, every time he adopts a stately tone. One will just be thinking of odd photographs. It's not about the criminality. The criminality is a distraction. Even the possibility of criminal behaviour is a distraction. And that is something that I think the PR people have done very well. Maya Tusi has looked at this rather brilliantly, and he says that he quotes Robert Penston saying that he has spent his entire career weighing up stories to see whether they are in the public interest or just interesting. Well, I don't see very much difference, and it's extraordinarily arrogant of somebody to say that journalists, or he is a journalist who is a guardian of the public, of public morality. That's effectively what he's saying. He is an angel of morality. Well, no, he's not. And Maya pointed out to the fake picture of Boris making a telephone call, I think, to Biden. I don't remember exactly, but and talked of him as the rumour king. But I remember particularly he put out a picture that made Boris look as if he was behind bars. Well, Boris may have deserved to be behind bars, but it's hardly impartial editing and hardly impartial reporting. And Robert Penston has used his Twitter account as a form of social weapon. And I think the question about whether or not he breached impartiality on that occasion, I don't think there is any question about that. I think he did. ITV didn't want to take any action about it. In the event, I think he was right, but it's not his job. In the same way, it's not his job to be the guardian of my morality. It's his job to report the news. That is his job. In the same way that Huw Edwards' job was to be this icon of respectability. That was what he was elevated to do, and he failed. And I think it's about recognising what the job is. My job is to stir up debate, and to do little opinion pieces. I trust with a certain amount of wry entertainment. I'm not the source of news. I'm simply looking at the news and wondering whether this is interesting or whether that is interesting, and which way it's going. And I think I equally need to know my place. Huw Edwards didn't know his place. Robert Penston, I think, doesn't know his place. Of course, there is a common denominator there, and I think there's a number of newscasters. All they're doing is sitting in a chair reading. You know, put that into perspective. It's not a very big job, is it? With all the airs and graces and all the huge fees that this commands, it's not a huge effort, or is it?